G'day and welcome to youtube.com/Geek Aloud. Today on Geek Aloud we are having a look at the Moss Book 2 and we'll have a bit of a play through that one. PSVR 2 launch title was released on the original PSVR, this one about 12 months ago, and re-released at the launch of the VR2. I will say from the get-go, thank you to Polyarc, the developers for this one, for supplying the code for this and to allowing us to play through it. We did discuss it on GEA last week, Gaming Enforcement Agency. That's a podcast on this very channel with myself, Unky Dunky and Troy, where we discuss the games of the week, the news of the week, and the standoff, as well as audience participation. And just a reminder that there is available now audio podcasts through your favourite podcast supplier or streamer there. Just search for Gaming Enforcement Agency. So what we'll do, for those that haven't seen it, we'll have a quick squeeze at the, you can see there, if I can get the camera right, that's the VR2 headset. It looks relatively similar to the PSVR1. We'll pop that on. It's pretty easy to pop on. You just push the button at the top and slide. There's a little button just underneath as well, just out of interest, so that it switches to a view where you can actually see through the camera that's positioned at the front of the headset there, which makes it a bit easy when you're trying to find the controllers we've got here. So jump back into the game footage there, we'll have a look and jump into the game. As you can see, we are pretty much right. Whoop, we don't want to do no, go back, my friend, go back, and there we go. So this one's a little different from your normal sort of VR titles where you've got essentially your first person view and you're moving your camera around. This is almost set up like a essentially a 3D space or a diorama in which you control your little mouse there. You can jump, you can fight, and you've got to maneuver him around. And you can see the detail in, as you sort of look around, and you can see all around you, right behind you, up into the sky as well. Is fairly incredible, the detail that they've got here, and they look fantastic. You can also notice, just excuse me while I pop off the screen a little bit, if you stand up you can actually see and look around the world itself, which can come in very handy when you're trying to do some of the puzzles and some of the collectibles as well, that you can sort of see around.
They had to hurry. Her poor uncle was too injured to defend himself should the arcane find him again.
As I was saying, as you can sort of see around the scenery, you can, you know, if you're in this sort of area and you're struggling to see what's going on, you can stand up, get a good view of what's going on, where you're controlling your character there, and then you can sit down. But for the most part, it's not like some of the VR titles that you do need to stand up for and actually see what, or maneuver your character around, or move your body in different ways. This is quite a relaxing way to play the VR. You can just sit and maneuver your character around. So as you can see, a little bit of the platforming here, and what we will see as well, you can actually reach forward. You can see those glowing orbs on the screen. You can actually reach forward and manipulate items within the environment to assist in getting Quill, who's the character here, assist in getting him or her, I'm not quite sure, but you can assist them in getting around the environment here. So there's obviously another one there, and you can see just up in that right corner where I'm looking at there, that rotating scroll. So that's one of the collectibles that you need to try to grab while you're manoeuvring through the environment. Now I'm not sure, that looks like it goes over there. You can see the scratches on the floor, but I can't see that you can jump up there. And Book 2, so if you haven't played either of them, they're very much in the same sort of vein in terms of the way you play them. There's little, as I said, almost like diorama type areas that you've got to work through, puzzles and that sort of thing. And move through different sections. It does have an interesting story behind it, but for the most part, this is essentially the basis of the game. You've got your first collectible there, and pop the trophy for us. Even better, love getting those trophies. And move around. There we go. I don't know whether, just out of interest, we put that there. That may well hold the door open for us so we can slide ourselves in. Now, if you are looking at the screen, you can see the earbuds just dangling by the side. Normally, obviously, you have those in.
To find him safe.
You found my sword.
You wouldn't believe where it was. You know, I never realized just how huge Zarpod was.
Shh! Lower your voice, Quill. We're not safe. He could be anywhere. The king's glass hides beneath the throne. We must move quickly and quietly. Your reader. Are they still here?
Yes, Uncle. They're right by my side. We're twofold. We aren't afraid of the arcane.
I see.
He said with a hint of pride.
Now, keep your ears open and your sword ready. We must get to the throne.
And again, you can see the as you're sort of looking around, the detail in the in each of the little sections is quite fantastic. Again, here's another. You can normally tell within this game that the sections that you can move, they start glowing that blue sort of colour as you approach them, or as you manoeuvre your hands around the screen, all those orbs that you can see there that manoeuvre around the screen.
No sign of the arcane here.
That's what worries me.
Uncle, look out!
I can't see you, but I know you're up there, reader. Please, she's in your hands now.
And we'll see, this is the way that we heal Quill.
Quill, you're far too important to risk yourself for me. The greater good must always come before matters of the heart.
There we go, another trophy there for us.
Didn't understand. He was our family. He'd always come first. But she knew better than to argue.
Now, just for reference, I played through the entirety of the first one and really enjoyed it. So, certainly, if you haven't had the opportunity to play, it's a good game that you can jump into. That you can get that VR experience without necessarily having. You know, some people get the motion sickness and that sort of stuff with some of the VR, especially while they're the first probably, you know, a couple of times they're using it, while they're getting used to how it all, you know, or having their brain get used to it.
I'll stay a few steps behind. You focus on getting to the throne.
So this is another one we might, as I said before, if you look up and you can sort of have a look and see, you're not going to be able to jump over the fence there. So whether you come back, there we go, jump down there. Now there is a bit of a trick. I think I haven't looked at the trophy list for this one, but there was a trophy for cutting grass as you were moving around. Funnily enough, cutting a certain amount of grass, and I can't recall exactly what it was, but and again the environment. And there is also, as you're breaking the pots. Now, one trick you can do, you can see the enemies there, so you can either attack with the button, and then once you've attacked you can sort of dodge, or you can grab them. And while you're grabbing them, they cannot maneuver and they cannot attack you, so that can make it a little bit easier if you're struggling with some of the mechanics of the fighting in VR. You can grab them, or if you, like in this instance, you've got multiple enemies on screen, so we'll grab one, get him out of the way while we deal with this one, and then we can jump in this one. But you do have to be aware that if you're holding them and then you attack, that sort of releases that grip on them. And again, you can see up the top there's a little scroll we want to get, and we're just going to make sure, again, so we might be able to find exactly what they're called. No, it doesn't show on there. It circles attack, and then cross or square for the dodge and jump mechanics for this one. Again, as I said, I haven't checked out the trophy set to see if there is one for cutting the brass, but there certainly wasn't the first one when I played through that. And again, so this is where it sort of becomes interesting, that you can sort of see some sections there, and this is where some of the puzzle elements will come into it. So you've got the enemy there, but you can actually drag him across, pop him on the switch, and then he'll hold that down for you. So with the enemies, even when you release them, if they're sitting on a switch, it will still, when you let them go, they'll just remain on that switch and hold it open for you unless you attack them or move them. So that's sort of an example of how some of the puzzle elements will work in Moss. I'll just jump through to this next section, and again, we'll see another little puzzle element to it. And this is essentially where the game is that there is some elements of puzzle solving, such as in this one, and there is elements of some combat as well. And that I found, especially in the first one, that it can be a little bit challenging, but it's not overly so that you're sort of really struggling with an abundance of enemies and that sort of thing there. So, and again, I don't know if up the back there, I'll stand up, but that might be the little scrolls up there. Look, no, can't see it up there. So, but now again, this is one of the little elements that you might need to have a look. And I'm trying to jump it. You can see, so the parts that you can grab onto have generally got that white sort of chalky outline to them, which can sometimes, if you're sort of struggling to work out exactly where to go. And I reckon here, so we've got another bug out here, little beetle. We need that switch held down again. And we pop him on there, and then all of a sudden we are good to go. And one of the little funny parts, which hasn't come up yet, but quite often when you solve a puzzle, you get through a section, Quill will stand there with the hand up and wanting a high five as well as a bit of a congratulations or a thank you for getting you through a certain section.
Quill was awestruck.
And getting through that first little bit there, so we might hold it there. That's just a little bit of a brief preview as I take the take the headset off there. So again, for those that haven't played the game itself in the original VR, it's certainly well worth having a look at. You've got both the books, so you play through the story in the first one, and then it sort of comes to a sort of conclusion at the end, but leaves it open-ended for obviously a second story, and that's where you flow into book 2. So fantastic. You can see from the little dioramas, as I explained before, how that's sort of set up, and it does provide something of a bit of a point of difference in terms of VR and the way that sort of works, rather than, as I said at the top, the normal first-person perspective that you sort of get. So something completely different there. I really enjoyed the first one. Looking forward to getting back into the Moss books and jumping into 2 and seeing how that one plays out. So certainly, if you do have a VR2 or if you've got the VR1, they're available on both, and certainly well worth a check out. So again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the channel. There's lots of Let's Plays, installs, and other informational videos, as well as the GEA, Gaming Enforcement Agency podcast, 8 o'clock Thursday nights, Eastern Australian time. So make sure you jump onto that, or the podcast feed of your choice if you can't join us live. So that'll do us for that video, another Let's Play, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you like it, subscribe it, and you'll never miss it.